Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and today let's talk about limos. So, as some of you may know, I used to own a limousine service. We had some of the largest cars in Portland, Oregon, had some really nice stuff, and it was a passion of mine. I was a chauffeur for a while, and then I figured that I would own a limousine service, and that worked out well, and it didn't work out so well. There was some ups and downs with that. So I still get a lot of questions about limousine stuff. And so I know it's not video game related, but you know what? It's entertainment related. So, got a message here, and it's so damn bright out here. I'm going to have a hard time reading this. And it says, I've been following your YouTube channel for a while now, back since the limo days. I really appreciate the advice you've shared and your experience. Thank you. You're welcome. And he likes that I do just the facts. He says that he has written for some magazines, such as LCT, and that they suffer from a condition called positivitis. Which is really where, everything that you read is positive. That's not what my channel's about. I tell you the bad shit, too. So, let's see here. They keep a happy tone, and even as dozens of businesses close their doors. And so he saw me answering some questions about a guy who thought about buying a couple of Rolls Royces to start with, and he agreed with my advice, which was really that was probably the wrong thing to do. And I think that my advice was you better have a couple of clients already in store for that. And so a little bit of background about this guy. He says he went through, he's got several years of experience being a chauffeur. He has a degree, and he is a statistician. That's what it looks like. So now he's doing well. He's got his education, his wife is educated too, and he's not currently chauffeuring. He's actually doing statistics for whether or not people should go to court, which is kind of an interesting thing. So the bottom line is, he says, I have 7 years experience in the limo business, about a few years ago now. I have a lot of education, including having spent 5 years of my early career doing business-related research and teaching MBA courses. I'd eventually be giving up a stable career, crazy, right? And bootstrapping my way. Bootstrapping, by the way, means that you don't have enough money to fund this fully yourself, to get yourself started, and that you are having to earn your growth that you need. Why is it that I always pick to film whenever my neighbors are mowing their lawn? In fact, this guy, he's going to come right around here and I'm going to end up having to move. I totally know it. I totally know it. I think that, see, there's two parts on this, on this lake. We only mow our grass out to the edge so far to the lake. The county actually mows the last little section of it. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. If he comes back around here, we'll have to move. So, maybe it'll be like that other video. Did you guys see that video where I'm just sitting out here talking and the lawnmower guy just goes right behind me, completely oblivious that I'm even out here filming and that he was going to make it onto the show? So, anyway, so he says that he's got a family and everything, maybe another one on the way, another family member on the way sometime in the next few years. And he doesn't know if he wants to open a limousine business, and he doesn't know if he should be making the leap or not. And to go self-employed, owning the service, the business service, the limousine service. And I have to tell you that the economy is in no shape for limousine services right now. And especially you being a statistician, come on, don't you see that? Not to be obvious, but it's a fact of that the marketplace right now. Not everybody, we have such high unemployment and everything, and so where is this disposable income going to come from? It's going to come from the same people who have disposable income right now. And so are they currently renting limousines? Well, there's no shortage of limousine companies out there. And, you know, a lot of limousine companies are having trouble surviving, and so there's no shortage of companies that are willing to undercut. One of the things that happened with our company, which really made me mad, because I couldn't compete. And that competition part was that our competitors were doing things such as when you go over 16 passengers, you're supposed to register as a bus. Well, we had a 20 passenger, a 24 passenger, and I think we had another one that was maybe 18 passenger. We had like 3 limousines that qualified as buses. So we registered them as buses. Well, in insurance with these vehicles, when you're just doing passenger services or whatever, and you're a car, which a car is actually considered up to 16 or up to 15 passengers, you only need $1 million insurance. $1 million of coverage. When you flip over to being a bus, you need $5 million worth. Now, that doesn't mean a 5 times increase in the cost of your insurance, but it does mean a 3.5, 4 times increase in the cost. And, you know, because that's a lot more money to cover. And there's other things going on with that, and there's other regulations. So when you're a bus, you fall under federal, not state. And so, you know, maybe if you're going to keep your car smaller, you could do that. But there's plenty of other small cars out there that are making less money per hour. And how do you compete with that? So I think that really the market is not right for this. Now, if I were bound and determined to start another limousine service at some point in the future, what would that look like? Well, I think the first thing that I would do is I would secure clients. And so I would secure these clients ahead of time. And so in order to buy your first car and do this, you need 2 clients that will pay your full wage. And what I mean by that is that because one of them may disappear. And so if it costs you, say, $5,000 a month for operations, and then you also need your, well, let's do something that's more realistic. You know, your car payment is probably going to be, if it's a new car that you have built, which I don't recommend buying new, I recommend going used because you can get it much, much cheaper. In fact, you can buy 2-year-old limousines for half the price of what they were brand new. And yeah, it's the county that's doing their lawn mowing. They're going to be around here. I'll have to move on out of the way whenever they come around. And so I would go with used vehicles, and then and there's plenty of them on the market. As you mentioned, that there's plenty of other businesses that were struggling. I can tell you too that we had a car that was 10 years old compared to our car that was like brand new. And while our car that was brand new got twice the hourly of the car that was 10 years old, the car that was 10 years old got booked a lot because it was lower price. And people still were out to have a good time, and they just wanted to be in a limousine, and they wanted to go someplace with their friends where they could drink in the vehicle. So, you know, you could be the, you know, slum limousine service where, you know, you have all older cars and everything, but then you have more repairs. And then you've also got to have other people on staff to drive out and meet another car someplace when one breaks down. So that's the flip side of having older cars, is that you risk breaking down. And so with that said, I don't know. You know, if I was bound and determined to do it, I would have a couple of clients lined up that would meet the needs of the operating expenses in order to do it. And in fact, if you were bound and determined to do this, let me give you an idea. Why don't you sublet a limousine? And why don't you talk to one of the other limousine services around and start, you know, leasing, you know, or renting their limousines, their you know, their backup limousines or whatever, on the weekends or whatnot, just to see whether or not you can build up clientele and whether or not you can make enough money. You know, I wonder if you can come to some sort of agreement like that without having to, you know, fully commit buying a car and everything. Also, you know, there's a lot to be said about, you know, getting the business licenses, the lawyers, all of that stuff. You know, until you can prove that you've got a business, I wouldn't do it. And so here's what I might try first. I might try advertising my limousine services, and I might know a competitor that I'm friendly with that I can refer business to. And so I advertise the business that I want to do, knowing that I have no cars, but knowing that I can get them booked with my competitor that will do a fine job and will, you know, maybe make a couple of bucks for my effort. Build up your momentum that way until you have enough regular business coming in that you can afford your first car. And that way, too, you know, I wonder if you would even need a business license for that. You certainly wouldn't need, if you're just referring sales, you certainly wouldn't need the, you know, the $1 million insurance on a car, or the $5 million insurance, and there's other things that you may not need as well. We went through federal regulations and we did all this stuff while our competitors didn't. And that hurt us really bad. And there was not just one example of that. There was 50% of the other limousine services in Portland were running illegally in one fashion or another. Most of them, it was not having the proper insurance. So, you know, that's a real issue. How do you compete against that? You know, because all of a sudden, they don't have the proper insurance and they're able to cut 10% of their cost out. I mean, 10%'s a lot when somebody's price shopping. So, yeah, I think those are my opinions. You know, there's some other things to think about which you may not have thought about because you don't know the business. But what about, do you need medallions? Do you need proper permits or whatnot? You know, in New York, you got to have medallions. You got to have a medallion for a cab. You got to have a medallion for any car service. The medallions are actually affixed to the car. They actually punch a hole in the sheet metal and you know, like rivet it to the car. And in Portland, we had that issue, and we couldn't get rights to go to the airport because of it, because we didn't have it. And so it didn't just stop us from doing everything, but it stopped us from doing the airport. And we ended up turning down about 20% of our business because we couldn't take people to the airport. There are a lot of business people that just want a nice car to pick them up or whatnot, and they'll pay. You see that? You see that bird out there? They are huge. Sandhill crane. I can't wait until one of these days when one actually lands back here while I'm doing my filming, because I'm actually going to take the camera over to him and we're going to have a conversation with him. So, anyway, I hope that advice helps you make some good decisions on that, and good luck to you. Now I know that you're in, I think you said Boston, and so let me know if you do end up getting something up and running. And then next time I'm in Boston, I'll hit you up. So, I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.